The crimson sun of Drakvora hung low over the warrior encampment when Sarah Mitchell first saw her. 3 months earlier, Sarah had been nothing more than a cargo pilot running supplies between Earth colonies, and now she sat bound in chains inside an alien war tent, wondering how everything had gone so terribly wrong. The transport ship had been ambushed near the outer rim, and Sarah alone survived the attack because Commander Zara had found her first. Zara was not like the stories told her about alien warlords. She stood nearly 7 feet tall with skin the color of polished obsidian and eyes that glowed like molten gold in the darkness. Her warriors called her the Blade of 1,000 Suns, and enemy fleets scattered at the mention of her name. But when Zara looked at Sarah, there was something else behind those fierce eyes. Something curious. Something almost gentle. Sarah had expected immediate execution, or worse. But instead, Zara ordered her chains removed and assigned her quarters in the command ship. The warlord visited her cell every evening, and they would talk for hours about their different worlds. Zara spoke of Drakvora, where strength determined worth and compassion was viewed as fatal weakness. Sarah told stories of Earth, where people valued kindness and cooperation over conquest. The warlord listened with an intensity that made Sarah's heart race in ways she tried desperately to ignore. Weeks turned into months, and Sarah found herself no longer trying to escape. She watched Zara train with her warriors each morning, moving with a deadly grace that took Sarah's breath away. The commander began teaching Sarah their combat techniques, claiming it was necessary for survival among her people. Their sparring sessions became the highlight of Sarah's day, even when she ended up on her back in the training sand, with Zara standing over her, offering a hand up with what might have been the ghost of a smile. The other warriors noticed the special treatment their commander gave the human prisoner. Whispers spread through the fleet like wildfire. Zara's second-in-command, Captain Vex, confronted her one evening outside Sarah's quarters. Sarah heard every word through the thin walls. Vex argued that keeping a human alive showed dangerous weakness that the other clans would exploit. Zara's response was cold as deep space. She reminded Vex that she alone commanded this fleet, and her decisions were not subject to debate. But Sarah heard something else in Zara's voice, a strain she had never detected before. That night, Zara came to Sarah's quarters later than usual. The warlord seemed troubled, pacing the small room like a caged predator. Sarah asked what was wrong, and Zara finally stopped moving. The alien woman stood silently for a long moment before speaking. She told Sarah that her father, the supreme warlord of all Drakvora, had issued a direct command. Zara was to return home immediately for an arranged marriage to unite 2 powerful warrior houses. The wedding would take place in 3 weeks. Sarah felt something break inside her chest, but she kept her voice steady. When she asked what would happen to her, Zara looked away and said that Sarah would be released at the nearest human outpost before they departed. For Drakvora, the warlord left without another word. Sarah did not see Zara for the next 5 days. When the commander finally appeared again, she looked exhausted, as if she had not slept since their last conversation. Zara told Sarah to pack her few belongings because they were approaching the outpost, but something in the way Zara spoke made Sarah step closer. She asked the warlord a question that had been burning in her mind for weeks. She asked if Zara wanted this marriage. The mighty commander, who had conquered star systems and brought enemy fleets to their knees, looked at Sarah with such raw vulnerability that it shattered every wall between them. Zara admitted that she had never wanted anything less in her entire existence. Sarah reached up and touched Zara's face with a gentleness that made the warrior woman close her eyes. She asked why Zara was going through with it. Then, the warlord's answer came in a broken whisper, because duty demanded it, and she had been raised to put duty above all else, including her own desires. Sarah understood duty, but she also understood something else. She told Zara that Earth had a saying about only getting one life to live. She asked if Zara really wanted to spend hers fulfilling someone else's vision of what she should be. The question hung in the air between them, charged with possibility. Zara opened her eyes and looked at Sarah with an intensity that could have melted steel. She asked what Sarah was suggesting. Sarah's answer was simple and terrifying. She suggested that Zara could choose differently, that maybe some things were worth fighting for, even if it meant standing against tradition and family. Zara closed the distance between them in one smooth motion. She cupped Sarah's face, in hands that could crush stone but touched her with infinite care. The warlord asked if Sarah knew what she was offering, if she understood the consequences of what she was proposing. Sarah smiled and said she had faced death before, and survived. Could face whatever came next as long as Zara was beside her. The kiss that followed burned away any remaining doubts. 2 days later, the entire Drakvoran fleet received a transmission from Commander Zara. She announced that she was resigning her command and declining her father's orders to return home. She declared that she had found something worth more than glory or power, or the approval of the warrior houses. The response from Drakvora was immediate and furious. Zara's father disowned her and sent 3 battle fleets to bring her back in chains. But Zara had spent years building loyalty among her warriors, and most of them chose to stand with her. The defection split the Drakvoran military, and suddenly the galaxy had a new conflict on its hands. Sarah stood on the bridge of their flagship, watching the tactical displays light up with incoming ships. She asked Zara if the warlord regretted her choice. Zara pulled Sarah close and said that regret was impossible when she had finally found something worth living for instead of just fighting for. The battle was brief but intense. Zara's loyal forces held the line while their ship made the jump to hyperspace. They emerged in an uncharted system far from Drakvoran territory. The crew looked to their former commander for orders, unsure of what came next. Zara stood tall and proud with Sarah at her side. She told her people that they were no longer warriors of Drakvora. They were something new, something better. They were free in the months that followed. Zara's rebels carved out a new home among the frontier worlds. They became protectors instead of conquerors, defending smaller colonies from raiders and hostile forces. Sarah worked beside Zara, building something neither of them had imagined possible. News eventually reached them that Zara's father had died, and the warrior houses were fragmenting into civil war. Zara's younger sister sent a coded message begging her to return and unite the clans, but Zara declined. She told Sarah that she had spent her whole life being what others needed her to be. Now she was finally being who she wanted to be, on the 1-year anniversary of their escape. Zara took Sarah to a quiet moon, orbiting a blue giant star. They stood together watching the light dance across an ocean that stretched to the horizon. Zara admitted that she still sometimes wondered what her life would have been like if she had chosen differently. Sarah understood, because she wondered the same thing. But then Zara smiled, that rare, beautiful smile, and said that wondering was not the same as wanting. She had everything she needed right here. Sarah leaned against the towering warrior woman and watched the alien sunset paint the sky in colors Earth had never seen. She thought about the strange path that had brought them together, about how sometimes the best things in life come from the most unexpected places. Zara wrapped an arm around Sarah and pulled her close. 2 souls from different worlds who had found in each other something worth changing everything for. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but nothing compared to this. Nothing compared to choosing love over duty, freedom over tradition, and finding home not in a place but in another person. Their story was just beginning.